Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to discuss about our topic of mineral metabolism. Now, in this topic of mineral metabolism, as you all know, what are minerals? Generally, minerals are the inorganic substances which are essential for our body, and they are required apart from the carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and vitamins. That substances we call as minerals. Now, the classification of mineral, they are generally of two types: major minerals and trace minerals. These major minerals we also called as micro minerals, macro minerals, and the trace minerals or trace elements we also called as micro minerals. Now, in the case of these macro minerals, these are needed by the body in large amounts, and they are, as compared to trace elements, they are required for our body in large amount. For example, the example of major minerals is what? Calcium, phosphorus, sodium, and potassium. These are the examples of major minerals or macro minerals which are needed by our body. And in the case of our trace elements, or you can say micro minerals, these minerals are required by body in trace amount. In very small amount these materials are required by our body. So these minerals we called as trace minerals or trace elements, or you can also call as micro minerals. Now, depending upon the requirement of body, these minerals are divided into, trace minerals are divided into two types. That are what? That are essential trace minerals and non-essential trace mineral. Now, in the case of essential trace minerals, these are required in microorganism for normal body functioning. That minerals you called as essential trace minerals. Now, their specific role in our body functioning is known. Example: iron, iodine, copper, zinc. And in the case of non-essential trace elements, they are required in very small amount, and their role in the body is unknown. For example, you can say lead, then your mercury. These are our non-essential trace elements. Now we are going to discuss about the biochemical functions of these minerals, why these minerals are required for our body. Now, in the case of these biochemical functions, the first function of minerals is what? It helps to maintain the acid base balance. The acid base balance is there in our body, and for maintaining that acid base balance, these minerals are required. Now, the next function of our mineral is what? It is maintaining, in the case of our electrolyte balance. To maintain the electrolyte balance, various electrolytes are there present in our body. To maintain that, these minerals are required. Then the next function of our minerals is what? It helps to maintain the osmotic pressure of cell. Then next function is, it is going to maintain the growth and maintenance of tissues and bones. For proper maintenance of tissue and bones, these minerals are required. Then they are also required for proper working of nervous system, muscle contraction, and transport of oxygen. For these functions, these minerals are required. So these are about your functions of mineral. Now we are going to discuss about the minerals briefly. In that case, some minerals we are going to discuss. That mineral is what? Your sodium. First mineral we are going to discuss, that is your sodium. Now, in the case of sodium, as you all know, sodium is present in our table salt, or we are going to add this to the food to give a flavor and a taste to food. This sodium is essential. The table salt is one of the major source of sodium. Now, this sodium, what it helps? Generally, this sodium is regulating the acid base balance of the body. It is required to maintain the osmotic pressure of plasma and tissue fluids. Then the sodium ion also helps for absorption of monosaccharides and amino acids from the small intestine. Then it is also going to help in maintaining the heartbeat. This sodium also prevents the normal irritability of muscles. It is involved in the transmission of nerve impulses. Sodium is involved in transmission of nerve impulses. It is going to maintain the cell membrane permeability. The cell membrane permeability is there. and according to that cell membrane permeability, the sodium ions are accepted or not accepted according to that permeability of cell membrane. Then it is also essential for our body in small amount. For example, it is essential in 500 milligrams per day. The daily requirement of our sodium is what? 500 milligram per day. Now when the sodium concentration is falls down, it is called as hyponatremia. The condition hyponatremia is the condition in which sodium level is below the normal level. That condition we called as hyponatremia. And in the case of if sodium level is increased in our body, that condition we called as hypernatremia. So this is about our sodium. This sodium is now the next mineral that we are going to discuss is your potassium. Now in the case of potassium, the best source of potassium are what? Vegetables, fruits and nuts. These are the best source of potassium. Now potassium is very significant mineral of our body, and it is necessary for our body for the functioning of all living cells. When the potassium ion is going to diffuse in nerve transmission, it is going to diffuse, and this potassium is found specially in high concentration in the plant cells and in the mixed diet. Generally the fruits in the fruits potassium is also present. Now potassium is the most concentrated inside the cell of our body, and that is going to generate the electrical impulses in our body that allow the muscles and the brain to function. So this potassium is also essential for synthesis of glycogen, and it is going to regulate the osmotic pressure of cell. This is about your potassium. Then next mineral that we are going to discuss, that is what? Your calcium. The best source of calcium is what? Milk, cheese, egg yolk and cauliflower. These are the best sources of our calcium, and the calcium is required for our body to maintain the blood coagulation. For maintaining blood coagulation, calcium is required. It also regulates excitability and nerve fibers and nerve centers. It is going to regulate the permeability of membranes. It maintains the integrity of intracellular materials. It is required for the activation of enzymes like ATPs and succinate dehydrogenase. For this it is required. Now when the deficiency of calcium is going to occur, that deficiency is called as rickets, osteoporosis and tetany. Now what is the difference in the case of your rickets, osteoporosis and tetany? In the case of rickets, generally it is characterized by faulty calcification of bones in children. Generally the children are suffered by the deficiency of calcium. That disease we called as rickets. And the condition in which decalcification of the bones occur due to calcium deficiency in the diet in adults, that disease we called as osteoporosis.